Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and or science fiction genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Beauty and the Beast. So a lot of stuff went down in this episode, so I'm just going to break down everything. We finally get revealed, it's like, oh, who's the buyer? Who's the person that put the bounty out on Vincent? And it turns out to be that guy Braxton, the dude who runs Greydall. Because it seemed like, oh yeah, like he's taking orders from someone else. But, you know, Kat figured out, she's like, wait a minute, there's literally no money trail. Okay, she's like, either I'm a terrible detective or this buyer never existed in the first place. And it ends up getting revealed it was him this entire time. So it's just like, I never would have saw that coming. Like, he BS'd this whole thing because, you know, he's the one that wanted Vincent. And it's like, okay, but why? Why go after Vincent? Why put him through all this? It's because he was testing Vincent because he needs Vincent. Because apparently there's still another beast out there. Which is kind of like, wait, what? I mean, it's kind of, they're like, oh, dealt with it a long time ago. It's like, you didn't really finish dealing with it a long time ago. Let's not forget, Liam just popped out of nowhere last season. So we found out beasts were still around. I mean, is it really that crazy to think, like, oh, there's still a beast out there? It's like, no. Like, you know, because there could easily be many that slipped underneath Kat's dad's radar or Mirfield's radar. That there's a lot of beasts that could be out there that they just lost records of or in touch of. Not less so, you know, because Liam was a special case. Like, I'm trying to remember. I know he was experimented on, but I can't remember if it was like he was already a beast and then got further enhanced, or did he get turned into a beast, like, you know, through like turn into an enhanced beast. You know what I mean? Was he a beast first and then got enhanced, or an enhanced beast to begin with? I'm pretty sure it was the first, I think. So it's really like, okay, I mean, it's still a shock because it's like, you know, everyone's like, I guess there's another beast diver, especially when they end up finding Braxton's body ripped to pieces. And you could just see it on Tess's face. Like, literally, they brought out the beast to her. She kind of see her eyes roll. She's like, oh my God, I already got mixed back up with this crap, which I'll get to that in a second. But it's like, oh, now literally you have to go back to worrying about beasts. It's like, who is it? Like I said, I'm still not letting it go. Kyle. It turned out, okay, he's not the buyer, but hey, maybe he's the beast. Maybe not. I don't know. Legitimately, with every episode that goes by, my suspicions do dwindle, but I just can't let it go. He's too suspicious to me. Maybe he's just the guy that found his way into Heather's life at the wrong time. He's the right guy coming in at the wrong time because they have to deal with all this stuff. Because it's kind of sad because, you know, Heather's wanting to put the relationship back together. I mean, not really put the relationship back together. He wants to move in together, and Heather's having reservations because she's like, I don't know if I can keep this up because it means continuously lying to him on a daily basis. I mean, I've lied about up to like this point so far, but she's like, that's only on dates. Like, if we move in together, I'm gonna be lying to him morning, noon, and night. So, and then what's really sad is he sees through all those lies at the, like, you know, when he ends up showing up at Kat's office and be like, yo, this Kat, she is an agent here. I was like, oh yeah, this was her office until she got fired. And it's like, oh, you're dating Heather. They're like, I thought Heather was married to JT. And he's like, wait, what? Married to JT? Like, well, what's going on here? And looks at it and just like, oh yeah, actually, they're married. That was the last we saw that in this episode. Now, the part of me that's like not suspicious of Kyle is like, oh, I feel bad for you because now there's this complete misunderstanding, which granted, they didn't even touch on in this episode, which makes me extra suspicious of it. Like, you know, it just seems like they could have easily squeezed that in just a conversation between Kyle and Heather trying to explain it. It's just Kyle's like, no, we're done. It seems weird to like tack that, like, to save that till the next episode. It seemed like something that should be thrown in this episode, and, you know, Heather kind of dealing with the ramifications of it next episode, unless Kyle has something to hide. That's all I'm pointing out. As maybe he's looking at all this and he's piecing it together. Like, maybe he's like I said, maybe the side of me that thinks he's suspicious, maybe that side of me is like, oh, maybe he's the beast, and then, you know, maybe he's piecing it all together with this whole DHS thing. Like I said, I'm going to be sorely disappointed at the end of this series if I find out, like, oh yeah, Kyle, he's actually not a bad guy. He's actually a good guy, just a great guy for Heather. Just because I've been so suspicious of him since he first showed up, because he was so adamant about being in her life. So, I don't know. The way they're painting it, it makes it seem like, oh, he's actually legitimately a good guy, just kind of like he came into her life at the wrong time with everything being hectic like it is. There's that department. And then there's the whole Tess situation, which I really like. The fact is, Tess was adamant about, like, you know, like, yeah, I'm not getting involved in this. Don't tell me what's going on, or because we're on opposite sides now. I'm on the side of the law, and Kat's not. But even Heather was like, at the end of the day, Kat is still trying to do the right thing. She is being lawful about catching someone trying to expose Vincent. Like, basically, at the end of the day, she is trying to catch a bad guy. So it's not like you two are completely on opposite sides, but you do see the awkwardness between them, because it's like the friendship that they festered from being partners for so long, it's just kind of like slowly falling apart on that end, just because it's just kind of like they can't even really talk around each other. They kind of have to, like, Kat has to watch what she says around Tess, because Tess doesn't want to involve her. She wants to have her normal life and everything, which, granted, we haven't seen DA dude since, like, was it the episode before, last episode, when the fact of the matter is Tess brought up those hypotheticals. We haven't seen him since, so it makes you wonder, are they still dating or not? I feel like part of her might not want to date him because he'd be a constant reminder of her doing the wrong thing. So, like I said, it's understandable. I get it. Tess doesn't want to be involved in all of this. I get it. She feels like she's doing the wrong thing. But at the same time, it's like, you're doing a good thing, though, because it's like the stuff you, Kat, and Vincent, and JT have all been tied up in has been helping people. It's like, if, it's kind of one of the things, do the ends justify the means situation. And it kind of, that's reflected in, the whole episode too. But, with Tess and everything, it's kind of like, the fact of the matter is, you've taken care of some very bad people because of what Vincent is. Let's not forget, if Vincent wasn't what he is, who knows how the whole Gabe situation would have turned out. Like, you have a district attorney, like, being a beast and doing God knows what to make. Granted, he was trying to cure himself, which he did, but as we know, that didn't last. And then you had a criminal like Liam running around, like, Interpol was chasing him for years and was never able to catch him because of what he was. So it's not like there's complete, like, bad stuff associated with Vincent being a beast. Yes, life has gotten complicated, but you've taken down some seriously bad people because of that. So, you took down the whole, like, secret organization of Muirfield. Like, that's a top secret organization that you were able to help take down, because, like, there's no more people being turned into beasts or killed to keep their secrets, because there's a lot of innocent people that died because it's like, oh, people know too much, we need to take care of them. So, but what was going back to what I was saying before about, like, oh, this being reflected in this episode, or like how far are you willing to go, it's just because it's like Kat stole evidence and Vincent ended up handing it over to it. Very interestingly enough, it was a case that Kat and Tess had worked on. It was actually their last case they worked on together, and the guy got off, scot-free. Well, not really scot-free, but the evidence she took was a gun that, is what was the only evidence they really had against him. And now he was basically had to give it over. Because at the end of the day, what I found very interesting was the fact is, Braxton set this all in motion. He was also trying to see how far Vincent was willing to go, I guess, when it's all said and done. Because basically it was going to come down to, like, hey, I need you to do something, like, because that was always Kat's worry. It's like, worried that it's like, oh, maybe he ends up pushing Vincent to end up killing someone. He did have that whole bomb situation where it's like, oh, I have to blow up DHS. But granted, Vincent's like, yeah, that is where I draw the line. He didn't want to steal the evidence. It's interesting, because when you actually look at it, it's kind of like, if you flip the perspective, if we didn't know Vince and Kat's perspective, and we were just looking at from, like, DHS's perspective, I can't see their actions as being evil. It's kind of like, wow, he's such a bad guy. It's like any story. If you only have one side of it, you can never give a real good judgment of the situation. It's like, legitimately, they crossed the line. Like, there's stuff they shouldn't do. Like, that, but there's a bigger part of me that's like, I understand why they do it, and I want them to continue not, going about things not necessarily the wrong way, but I'm fine with them doing the wrong thing if it means, catching the bad guy. And granted, luckily they haven't crossed that line technically. Let's not forget Vincent killed Hill, but he was kind of forced and backed into a corner, injected with adrenaline, so that was more Hill's fault than his own. But nevertheless, they've not crossed that line to hurting someone. Okay, taking that back again, because there was that whole mercenary dude that Vincent beat the crap out of to get into Greydall, and Kat ended up having to kill him. Granted, in that situation, it would have been kill or be killed type of situation. So, once again, there's a lot of gray area there. But it's like very interesting because basically you have that guy Braxton being like, you know what? I do everything I do. I built Greydall because I do the jobs that the FBI and the CIA can't do, don't know about, and won't touch. That's the whole point of Greydall. And I'm pushing Vincent because I need him to take down this beast. He's the only one that can. And it's like, so it makes you wonder, like, because we already thought like Liam was top dog because he was an enhanced beast. I mean, truth be told, is really the only reason why Vincent was able to beat him is because Kat was able to catch him off guard because of the whole situation about, you know, him in the past. Like him being a lot older than what he actually is. And now that I think about that, I totally forgot he was a beast for a very long time. That just came back to me. So it's like my earlier statements is like retracting because like he was a beast a long time before he got enhanced. He was a beast way back in the day dealing with Catherine's ancestor. So he was around back then, and present day he got enhanced. So, but I'm saying like Liam was kind of a top dog because he was an enhanced beast. Makes you wonder, is this person a very powerful beast, or are they just kind of like at the same level as Vincent? Because like I said, only reason why Vincent beat him is because he caught Liam by surprise. Like, because Kat was distracting him, Vincent came and ripped his heart out. That's the only reason why that went the way it did, because when it came to strength, like, Vincent couldn't compare to Liam. So it makes you wonder, is this guy super strong too, or is he just an average beast? Is he kind of the last link in the chain? I mean, this could work out technically for Vince and Kat. Maybe what they'll end up doing is killing. I mean, I feel like that might be what it comes down to, killing this final beast, making it look like it's Vincent that's dead, and then them disappearing. Because they brought that up at the end of the episode. Maybe we should just run away from it all. Because Vincent's like, once it's all said and done, like, DHS has the recordings that Braxton had of me beasting out. So it's like, once it's all said and done, I'm not going to have anywhere to run. Like, everyone's going to know what I am, especially when DHS runs through those tapes. Granted, I thought Tess was going to be like, yo, I got those tapes. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you know, because, you know, Kat was able to convince her, like, yo, we're working towards the same goal. You know, you can walk away from the situation. I can't. I love Vincent, and I'm not about to let him go. It's fine and dandy that you want to walk away from this situation. You're not invested in it. I get it. You want a normal life, but this is my life. This is my husband, and I'm going to fight for him. And so basically she was able to convince Tess earlier on the episode. I was like, oh God, I knew when everything was falling apart, it's like those photos got sent to Tess. I was like, the DHS lady gave them to Tess. I was like, oh God. And then she arrested Kat. I was like, oh, this is terrible. But granted, you know, Tess gave her one more chance. Everything kind of got resolved in that regard. But the fact of the matter is, Tess didn't hand over the, like, you know, the tapes or like any, those recordings or anything. So like that, I was like, oh God. I thought that was going to be the case, but sadly it wasn't. So DHS still has those tapes, so easily could turn out to be like, hey, they find out what Vincent is. But, you know, by, like I said, taking the beast and faking her death, faking Vincent's death, they can disappear. Maybe that's going to be the plan, to fake both their deaths. And it's like everyone thinks Vincent and Kat are dead, except for JT, Tess, and Heather. They know the truth, but everyone thinks like, oh, the monster Vincent, you know, because it probably comes out, oh, Vincent's a monster. He was an experiment and he's dead. But then maybe have JT go out and speak the truth. It's like, yo, people think my friend was a monster because of what he was. No, my friend, he protected the city even without you knowing it. You've seen all these things that happened throughout the city, all these people that have been saved by some mysterious figure. That was my best friend Vincent. So, you know, that's how my mind is kind of playing that out. Because as I saw a little bit of preview, not going to talk about it, but I saw a little bit of it, not all of it, but it seems there are only 3 episodes left until this is all done, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just so interested to see how everything's going to play out. Like I said, I'm thinking that's a high possibility, and I'm still thinking Kyle is the freaking beast. I know it's like, oh, it turns out not to be the buyer. Nope, he must be the beast. And it's like, I refuse to let it go that Kyle is not a bad guy. I don't know. Like I said, if the season ends up ending, or series ends up ending, and it shows that Kyle's like, oh no, he just happened to find his way into Heather's life, then I'll be slightly disappointed, but happy at the same time, because I was like, oh, good, Heather's not being manipulated. That's kind of, you know, Heather deserves some happiness too. They all deserve happiness, because it does make you wonder how this whole JT and Tess thing is going to play out at the end too, when they finally get back together, you know. Once it's all said and done, maybe JT will be like, yeah, it's all past me. I want to give us another chance. I know we can make it work this time. You know, now that everything's pushed past us, you don't have to worry about this beast stuff anymore. And you know, and if if Heather's lucky enough, hopefully, Kyle is only up and up. Maybe she'll get to have her, like, her happily ever after, like Vincent and Kat are, who are most likely going to be, like, off somewhere else, living normal lives. Which, in that same time, it's like, will Vincent actually find a cure, or will he always be a beast? Because at the same time, too, Liam became a beast, like, way back in the day, and he hasn't aged. Does that... Because that was something that was kind of brought up as a joke, like, well, what if the fact of the matter is Vincent doesn't age and Catherine does, and she just gets super old and he doesn't? Because, I mean, not a large, significant amount of time has passed for whether or not to see whether that's true or not. He's been a beast for over a decade, but, in that amount of time, you might not physically change that much. Probably his metabolism, I mean, his body's probably slowed down, but it's hard to really judge that in a span of 10 years, maybe 20 or 30 years when, maybe Kat gets a little older. It's like, maybe you'll see if Vincent will or not, too. Because I did forget that was totally a thing, so. I don't know. Overall, very good episode. I did like the twists and turns. Sadly, there won't be an episode next week. We are going on another week break, and it will be back on August 25th. So, the week after next, so. But that's really all I want to talk about this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.